the channel, whatever, and I was just like binge watching like a lot of your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The material is great, man. But yeah, I just wanted to get a chance. Yeah, I was like, I saw the YouTube, I saw the Instagram post, and I was like, you know what? I was like, hey, I want to get a quick little one-on-one or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
bro. And
yeah,
that's really why I do the promotions, especially with the journals that I got, because the journals is fire by themselves. But
yeah,
a lot of people be wanting to know, like, how do I teach in my one-on-ones, and how I mentor and stuff like that. So I feel like this is a good chance to give people who normally don't book my monthly sessions to like come in, get a quick one-on-one, see if they like it, stuff like that.
yeah. Um, but yeah, as far as like trading, like I have at least like I would say so far about like a year of experience or whatever.
Okay.
So like my technical analysis is pretty good. Like for the most part, I'm pretty good at figuring out exactly where price is going to go, this and that, whatever. And so I've been using the higher time frames a lot recently. So I've only used the M30 for my entries for like the last maybe 3 months or so. And now I'm trying to get to a point where I can start maximizing my like risk to reward, whatever. I don't really like holding my trades for like an entire day. So I guess my goal is to I want to start learning how to use the, going down to like the M15, the M5. Like I know that structure is structure, but sometimes the M5 and the M10 can be a little bit intimidating, right? Like especially because I trade during around like London Open, up and from like London Open to like New York session or whatever like that. So yeah, I guess I just kind of want some more. Like I said, I have my basics are sort of solid or whatever. I'm just trying to find more, just better ways to get entries with higher, higher RRs or whatever, so I can start hitting those like those like.
What pairs are you usually trading?
Sorry.
What pairs are you usually trading?
Oh, I trade UCAD and EJ. Yeah.
Okay. And then like, what's your typical lot size?
Um, one lot. Yeah, one lot. Yeah.
Okay. And do you know how much drawdown you usually see?
Let me see. Somewhere with UCAD and EJ, no more than maybe 10 pips of drawdown, I'd say. Between like 10 to 15 pips drawdown. Yeah.
That's good. What's like, how many trades do you typically take like per week? Do you know?
In a week, no more than 5 really. I mostly take mostly take like one entry a day. Yeah.
One entry a day.
Yeah.
5 trades. Okay. And do you have any goals as far as like your pip goals for a day or for a week?
I've never really, and I guess that's kind of what I wanted to ask you too. I never really like use sort of pip goals, I guess, whatever. But I think as we go throughout the session, you understand like where I'm coming. But I normally I don't really look at it in terms of pips. I look at it as more in terms of like if this trade is like a 3-to-1 or something, or if this trade is a 4-to-1
Okay.
or 2-to-1. So it's like I'm never like you know what I mean? Like you know how some people have set stop losses, like they'll be like, okay, 20 pips stop loss. Yeah, like that. I don't set it. I don't set my trade based on that. So
Okay, that's cool. Do you have like money goals?
um as right now I'm not too worried about it. I'm just more so just trying to like,
The
you
strategy?
know,
Like,
yeah, just get more consistent. I mean, I'm trading with live money, but
yeah.
I'm not using like high percentages or anything like that. So
Okay.
um
Well, that's cool. I was just asking because, as far as like growth wise, like I typically tell the people I mentor is like you kind of always want to have um like either a pip goal or at least not so much daily, but at least like weekly. You know what I mean? So it's like you have a certain range, so you know where you're at as far as like in the move. You know what I mean? Because that's typically how you calculate the move that you're catching, not just so much risk to reward, but also like understanding like how many pips on average am I catching. So that way I can know if I'm growing within my system or not. So it's more so about like your system or the system that you're used to using. Like, is it a high profitable system, or like is there certain things you need to add, things like that. So that's how you can pretty much tell if you're growing. Is
Mhm.
not having certain goals, right? So like, what's your why for trading? Like, why are you trading then? Like, what's your
Um,
purpose of trading?
of course, I'm trading to sort of, get that, financial freedom or whatever. Um, but my thing is like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just to get my own place, have my own stuff, whatever. That's really the strong why. I mean, I'm 20, I'm still in college. So the goal is really to, by the time I graduate, to be able to say, hey, like I have something to fall on, to have
Yeah,
something to stand
yeah,
on. You know,
definitely. So you're definitely just focused on the craft. That's good. That's good. And you say you trading while you're in school, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that's good. So that's gonna help you, as far as like picking up things like a lot faster, because a lot of times like people ain't been in school in like forever, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, let's hop on some charts then. Let me put some stuff up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's good. What school you go to?
Montclair State, Jersey.
State in Jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
That's smooth. Yeah, I was in my PhD program up at Howard for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Started trading for real.
Yeah, they don't teach this in school.
Nah, bro, I really wish they did for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what's going on. Two different chart. And you said UCAD. We could look at UCAD.
Yeah. I used to just trade one pair, just UCAD. And I was really big on heavy on just trading one pair. But then like I was realizing that since I only take like one trade per day or whatever,
Yeah.
like there were like a lot of moves. Yeah, it was just like I wanted to trade more often or whatever. So I was like, let me add a second pair. So
Okay.
yeah.
No, that's good, G. Yeah, I typically I was taught to just, if you got like at least like two, three pairs, like you're good, because if you look at each one like an investment, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
because that's really what it is. But like, if you look at it like one revenue stream, like that you could cash out on like all the time, then it's like I don't need to be shopping around for like hella pairs if I could get good at like two pairs. Like one pair and then have a backup pair that I go to when my pair is not acting right or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but yeah, bro. So like, are you more like fundamentals? Or are you more like technical trader? Like, what's your
Yeah.
background?
Yeah, I'm more so technical. I trade mostly like, similar to, Q.
Okay,
He was
you in WSA?
no, I'm not in WSA, but I
Okay.
watched like a lot of his. I'm familiar with a lot of his material, whatever.
Okay.
So, like, yeah, my style is mostly 80% like
Hmm.
his, whatever.
Okay, cool. So you'll be able to pick up on like the concepts that I go over and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's cool because that's who I learned from. So that's smooth. So typically, um, cool. So typically, I start off on a monthly time frame. Because all time frames matter. Things like that. I don't trade UCAD. As of late, I was trading BTC while I was in Mexico and stuff like that in the couple weeks before that. But
Mm,
usually like BTC US 30, like these are the pairs I typically like get active on.
yeah,
Um, but I just look at structure, like cause like you said, time frames matter on all not time frames, but structure matters on all time frames.
yeah,
And the best thing you could do is have your brightest outlook, like the biggest outlook on the chart, which is going to be that monthly time frame. And understanding what each time frame means is what's really important, because you only want to be on certain time frames for certain reasons. All right.
mm,
And the reason that I want to be on a monthly time frame first is just so that way I can really understand like what the chart is trying to show me and where's my biggest resistance and support. You know what I'm saying? So that's typically what I go through, and I'll start off like on the line chart and things like that, just so I can see close price and get certain points of support and resistance. So like, even if I was marking this up, right, I'll just be looking for certain close price that adds up with my with my monthly chart situations and all those type of things. So like even if I switch back to the candles, you can clearly see like this is a strong level of resistance, right?
Yeah.
It came up, showed a lot of buyers exhaustion towards the top, gave us this bearish engulfing pattern right here that
Mhm.
signified this resistance level. Even if we went down on lower time frames, I'm pretty sure you would see some type of transition that happened on the lower time frame because wicks are just candles on lower time frames, right?
Right. Yeah.
So understanding that, like that's how I go through understanding which areas I'm in or which environments, what different type of environments I'm in, depending on what chart I'm on. Just by getting my biggest support and resistance and being dynamic with that support and resistance by using the line chart, understanding what closed price looks like in certain areas and what that'll look like when I go back to my candlestick chart, right? So I could stay
Mhm.
on this chart for a little while longer. Looking for other areas of close price that was once resistance. Um, Also, as I only picking this part of the chart just because this is what's relevant right now, right?
Yeah.
So even up in this area, I could take this line and just drag it down, see what type of points I'm looking for. So I got respected points along this area as well. See
Yeah.
how that looks on my candlesticks. So for me, I would want to bring it down just a little bit, just because I don't want them too close, but at the same time, I want to make sure that it's certain situations that I'm seeing that's being respected over and over, like certain touches that happen right here, certain touches that happen right here, and then again. So if it's happening past price, and then even this right here looked like it was respected on our line chart, which it was on our candle chart as well. Like
Mhm.
areas like this, these are areas where you could have had, selling opportunities if you were aware of why it was doing what it was doing once it got to this certain area in the market, right?
Mhm.
So back on my line chart, we got some support down here along this level. But at the same time, we got resistance. So
Yeah.
what I want to do is grab this overlap right here, along with like this little overlap right here, and also this area right here, this area right here. So this is a strong level as well, right? Going back to our candlestick chart and just seeing how things played out,
Mhm.
right? And then just for the sake of time, this is another area. Got support, turn resistance on close price, turn back support, right?
Mhm.
And you gotta take your time while you're doing this stuff, man, because it pays. It really pays, to be able to take your time and understand these certain levels. So I got overlap, which was like a double top right here. Came back with support right
Mhm.
here, support right here, support right here. Go back to the candlesticks, support, support. See how it all lines up? And
Yeah.
even you can tell why price is rejected a little bit, right? Because it's
Mhm.
major support down here. So that's what I like to do when I'm on a monthly time frame, just to see what area I'm in.
Okay.
Clearly, we're coming from an uptrend on the
Mhm.
monthly time frame because we had this break of resistance that happened right here that started that transition. We had the break of resistance that happened right here. It gave us that bullish right here that let us know that this area is fully broken with enough buyers in this market. Came back for that perfect retest, gave you a bullish engulfing right here, and then shot up, right? So since this point right here, we kind of been still angled off, but we still are in an uptrend structure,
Yeah.
right? We have heavy resistance along this area as well. And this is like a little monthly trend line, just so we know the direction that we in and understand that support has not been broken. Like this is the major support for this monthly trend, right? So it
Yeah.
came back and tested. So even if we were using Fibonacci, it would be from our point A to our point B. So
Mhm.
even if we wanted to see, just what this monthly structure is going to do, I would take it from bullish wick to that's kind of it came up there and tested twice. So We could do. Let's see what looks better. I don't want to go way up here because it's a lot of just exhaustion. But at the same time, if we go bullish wick, just going off what I was taught. We have a 38.2 touch right here. First support that was made right here. Since then, it hasn't broken that support. This all here is just tested because we didn't go bearish and then bearish close. We went bearish, doji, indecision, and then came back bullish. So this level still maintained. Came back bearish, bearish, but it's still within this main area. And then that next candle was bullish. So I'm still holding on to this level of support here, which is came back and did another retest. And so the main goal is still for us to break outside this first high, right? So that would be our main goal as far as just being on this monthly time frame. We understand that it's still in the uptrend structure. We still have higher low points being respected. We haven't broke past our 0% yet. It's still trying to get up there, but it's still hanging around at 38.2. And even though it came and touched 38.2, it would actually have to come and break, this last level of support that was held for us to actually be like, okay, the trend is changing, right? We're going into a downtrend.
Yeah.
But until this is broken, we really can't say that yet. It's still buyers in the market, still holding up on that 38.2. So we're still looking for the market to go towards that negative 27% as an aggressive push. That would be my bias as far as this monthly time frame until I actually seen a break, right? Like a clear break, and it went steeper into the PRZ levels, right? Like broke my trend line, all that kind of stuff, right? So then walking it down, going into my weekly time frame. Auto this so we can see. So on our weekly time frame, we can start to see clear signs of breaks, right? Because we had uptrend structure looks good on the weekly. Since this point right here had a break, we had higher lows and higher highs being formed, higher low, higher high, higher low. Had a lower high right here, but it maintained our lows for the uptrend, and then it came up to retest at 0%. Found resistance there, came back, broke minor structure on the weekly, came down, and then started retracing, right? And on the weekly, we already have a break, right? So once you start to see signs like that, it's like, okay, the lower time frames add up to the higher time frames, right? And that's how I put everything together, is by being able to walk down and say, okay, well, this broke already on the weekly. So if it broke on the weekly, the next step is for it to break on the monthly. You see what I'm saying? Like, because those candles start to build up and add up for that higher time frame.
Yeah.
All right, and then clear structure, clear as day on the daily, right? We had that break that happened somewhere around here, right? Had a minor pullback, probably a 38.2 based off of this move. Oh, wait, wrong area. Right, 38.2, right? Never really broke. Kind of broke, came to the 50%. I couldn't see that. But yeah, came to 50%, right? And tested at 50%, made structure, gave you a bearish engulfing right here. And then from this point was all downtrend, right? Downtrend, pull back, counter trend, downtrend again. And it's continuing that downtrend structure. So as long as that downtrend structure continues, it can potentially break that lower high point. But if we get in this area and we start to see, like we're seeing bullish candles form, a lot of consolidation, we already know why, because we're at a monthly level of support. You see what I'm saying? And it's a tight area, right? Because even just based off of this fib level right here, we're still in that 38.2 or like that 23.6 range. So we can expect consolidation and continuation of the downtrend, right? Just going off of what we're seeing. But when I'm entering, because I know that's pretty much like what you had a lot of questions. I don't want to go over too much stuff because I know your key points was like entries and stuff like that. So like if I'm entering, if I already understand the trend, right? For instance, we had a break here. We had a break here. We had lower high here. We had a true lower low be made right here. So we had this true lower low be made. and we're on that 4 hour time frame, and then we're watching this counter trend pretty much, right? We've been watching this counter trend one off the 1 hour, 30 minute, 4 hour, like mainly 4 hour time frame. So understand that it takes time when you're dealing with these higher time frames, bro. Okay,
Yeah.
like that's the biggest thing is the patience factor, because being on those lower time frames, 30 minute, 15 minute, those are our entry time frames. So you're getting in really on a small piece of price. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you want to have validation from your higher time frame, right? So that way you're not getting faked out, you're not entering impulsively, you're not entering too early, because that's wrong as well. You know what I mean? You want to enter with momentum. You want to enter when the market is going with your bias on all time frames, pretty much. All right.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that, it takes time, like I said. So we got the 50-minute touch right here. And this is just like a smooth setup that I catch all the time, right? So we got the clear break that happened. Yeah, it took a couple hours or a couple days, whatever, right? Came and made support. All right, y'all look at that later. So yeah, came made support. Boom. Hit my 50%, right? Once it hit my 50%, I understand that now the market is neutral. It's neutral buyers and sellers, right? So at this point, I'm waiting to see, is the market going to make support and go higher into my PRZs, or is the market going to respect this 50% and then start heading down to our take profit, which would be negative 27, right? And this is pretty much why I love fibs, but it's a certain way. It's a certain way that you got to go about fibs. You got to actually know what the PRZs are. You got to know what you expect from them. You know,
Yeah.
like as far as how volatile the move is going to be based on which
Yeah.
level it respected, right? So 50% let me know it was neutral buyers and sellers. 38.2, right? So I ain't gonna get there yet, but once we seen this bearish engulfing happen, excuse me. Once we seen this happen, right? This established resistance.
Yeah.
Or let us know if sellers are now in the market, right? Then once we started seeing, okay, sellers came back into the market, found another level of support, right? All I got to do is be able to mark this level off, because I already know what I'm looking for at this point. I'm looking for the market to maintain a certain level of resistance, right? And that's why you got to have a workflow. And that's what I teach my mentees is how to have a workflow. What are you looking for first? We're looking for a second. We're looking for a third, you know, and even in the journal, like the templates have certain workflows. So it's going to help you maintain certain orders that the market allows you to maintain, you know, if you have the emotional intelligence to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from this point on, right, we got a point of resistance. We got minor point of support that's right here on our 4 hour time frame, right? So this is a large time frame, right? So the whole time I'm in this area, even if you bring it back to the left a little bit, right? Some resistance right there, but mainly it made support right here. So we want to make sure that the market is maintaining lower highs for us to get into the bias that we're in at this point. Because we already had our breaker structure on the 4 hour. We've been seeing lower highs and lower lows. We understand where we're at. We're on that 50%. Now we're at the 38.2, and we're seeing if the market is going to keep respecting the structure that it's in, right? So once we started seeing areas like this be made, 1, 2, 3, like all of these are entry areas, bro. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying so much on the 4 hour, but when you see these areas start to happen, it's like, all right, I know this support is getting ready to break soon, right? So that's when I want to go down to my M30. Hopefully, let's just go back to where I was at. Yeah, there we go. Right. So when I'm seeing areas, you see how much data this is on a 30-minute?
Yeah.
You could get faked out easy. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
easy, but that's why you understand where you are. So now that I understand, okay, all this is bearish momentum, all of this is bearish momentum, and even in here, I'm seeing certain breaks of support, right? Certain breaks of support. Certain breaks of support. Where was we at? Oh, in this area. Certain breaks of support, right? So when I'm seeing this, all I'm really doing is gauging this momentum. Pull this over. right? In 30-minute, boom, I can slap on a little trend line to help with my directional bias, right? So boom, I got the trend line on. Let me change this to a different color so we don't get confused. We're on our lower time frames, right? So got the double top, coming off the double top pattern, broke, came back, maintained a certain level of resistance. Right, so we maintained a certain price point. Never broke, right? So from this area, we started making lower highs, maintain. And these are the levels, like when you're able to start putting all of this stuff together, make sure that's on your point. Yeah. Those are going to be the certain levels that you want to make your move off of, like your order off of, like confidently. You see what I'm saying? Because we already got a certain level of respect. Boom, it came back, made our point B. Okay, that's respect. That made our trend line. Our point A, point B made our trend line. So even if we didn't take this confident order and we wanted to wait some, that's perfectly fine. Because some people can take moves like this, get out, wait, and then get back in. You know what I mean? And some people aren't able to discern that yet. You know what I mean? Whether it's
No, so yeah, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. Whether it's it's because you're not able to be dynamic in certain areas. Like any little thing can throw off your workflow in your game, right? So understanding we're in the consolidation area at that, right? So all of this is wrong tool. So all of this is damn. All of this is just consolidation, right? But because I know where I'm at in the higher time frame, it's like I know my points of attack. I know I want to be at the highest point, when the market lets me know it's ready to sell, because the bias is still a selling bias, right? And even if you was watching this downtrend, we could have had a certain trend line. It's a little steep, but it still would have let you know when those sellers came back into the market, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is why you back test, so that way you can see when you're actually going through it all. It's a lot, bro. It's a lot when you're going through it. At time, like soon as the market opens and stuff like that, or just real time trading. So it's like you have to be able to back test. You have to be able to see, okay, could I have held this trade longer? Did it give me signs to get out earlier? Like things like that. That's how you're gonna get better. Okay. Mm-hmm. So boom, you see that the momentum shifted already into sellers. We see that we're making lower high points right here, and I'll just go ahead and put that up here, just in case. Text. So we got our high point. High point right here, and we got our lower high point. Then we got another high point right here. And this high point is actually our point C on our, no, wait, point A, point B. Okay, so this is going to be our point C around this area, right? And this is also just a retest of a high, right? So it's almost like a triple top pattern when you kind of label out your structure, right? So that's another confluence. You see what I'm saying? I got to shift the momentum that happened. Got to shift the momentum. I'm making lower high points. I'm already making lower high points on my 4-hour time frame. I'm at a damn near a triple top pattern, and this is my point C of my trend line. So this is going to be the opportunity that I really want to take advantage of, right? Yeah. So no, this will actually be a lower high. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I guess the one thing, when I was looking at most of the entries that I'm taking, most of the time I take them. I don't like taking my entries like if the retracement isn't farther than like 50% sometimes, whatever, because like the 38.2 is like 38.2, like yes, sometimes you get that really aggressive push from it, but sometimes I found that you can like it'll push and then instantly retrace back. So like how do you sort of manage your trades around that 38.2%? Like I know you see an engulfing pattern or something like that, or you see structure change.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. So the first thing
you-
is you got to make sure that that is fully transitioned. You know what I mean? Because like you say, it could quickly pull back or whatever the case is. But
yeah, because if you go further today from UCAT, the same thing happened this morning during a trade that I took. Like it was like it was at the 38.2 level, and then instantly just like the trend I had the trend correctly. It was bullish, but then it went up like 20 pips and then instantly just dropped right back down, or whatever. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, right around.
where you was looking at?
Yeah, right here. This so yeah, if you mark your if you start the Fibonacci from that 1.2620 over here, from the move over to the right more
Right here.
from the other, from that, if you start the Fibonacci from that and then go up to the next higher level, and then that's where I marked mine.
But you gotta realize, bro, you still on a downtrend. Like you still on a downtrend structure. So it's like, okay, because like, look, this is a lower high compared to this move. All right, this is a lower high compared to this move. This is really like the same tested point compared to, but all of this is the same resistance point that's being held up from this push right here to try to break this support. You see what I'm saying?
All
So
right. So you wouldn't consider, from where price was at now, right? You wouldn't consider that being like those series of lower highs. You wouldn't consider those being broken. Just not like an entire, but you wouldn't consider
what lower high is broken?
the one near like
This
literally to the left. Look by those two. Look at those series of lower highs that were
these
broken.
ain't
You don't
really
consider
lower
those lower
highs though.
highs?
This isn't no, because like even if I'm going off of this push, right? I'm going off of this push just from point A. That's not a lower high, especially with Q teaches. It has to hit at least 38.2 for it to be considered a lower high point. This happened too quick for it to be a lower high. A lower high has to be real resistance. You see what I'm saying? Like this is real resistance. Like the market doesn't want to go above this price. You see what I'm saying? Like it's never gonna be just one candle. Like it's not gonna be just like 1, 2, and oh that made resistance. Like it might make resistance in a sense, but it has to be pulled back enough to where it's sound enough for the move that it did. You see what I'm saying? Like for instance, right? If I took this down, I wouldn't call this little pullback right here resistance. It's too quick. You see what I mean? It's only one, two candles, and then boom. You see what I'm saying? Like it has to be more of a pullback. Like, and that's why I say 38.2, or that's how at least I was taught, 38.2.
Mm-hmm.
That 38.2, so that way it hits a certain level that I know is high enough. At least 38% of buyers actually came into the market. You see what I'm saying? This is probably like 10% of buyers came into the market, and then it continued this trend. That's the same thing that happened here. Like it came and made like this minor pullback, probably like a 23.6 type of move, because it didn't even come to 38.2. So like half of that's probably like 23.6, and then it continued, and then it came, tried to hit negative 27, but then it gave you the real pullback because it never gave you a pullback at first, right? So you wasn't wrong for taking a trade, because this trade that you took, it's at a strong level of monthly support, like we were talking about, right? So it's like it's possible for you to profit off of this move, but you got to know that the selling pressure, when the selling pressure kicks in, it's gonna be a lot of selling pressure because you're still mainly on a downtrend for the main structure. So it's gonna be the selling moves is gonna be way more than the buying moves, basically. You see what I'm saying? So you can't get lost in your main structure. Like all of this is downtrend structure. Right? Even though we're on that higher time frame, we understand where we are. We understand what this level means, but we got to play the data that we're seeing, right? And the data that we're seeing is straight downtrend structure, breaks of support that happened right here, right? Like all of this is still tested. This whole level is still tested, tested because it went bullish, bearish, came right back, dropped.
Yeah.
Bullish, bearish, came right back, dropped. You see what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
saying that buyers aren't in the market, but it's way more sellers in the market right now than it is buyers.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess because I was looking because I like on the like normally I'll go on the daily time frame and then I'll go on the H4. So on the daily time frame, yeah, my bias was like totally bearish or whatever. But then like I guess I'm a bit more I allow the H4 to be a bit more sensitive, like meaning to like those different breaks in structure. But
Mhm.
I mean, but the way you just showed me now, I understand. So
See what I'm
I guess
saying?
I should be looking for like that at least maybe like a 38.2 like retracement or at least sort of like two candles. It's really hard to say, but it's like because I don't want to say at least two candles, but just like I know what you mean. You just want to see like a deeper retracement kind of.
Yeah,
That's
definitely. Definitely. You want to get into the structure and see like this is a counter trend. Like even if you go on that daily, like look, that move that you was looking at, that's not even there really. Like this whole thing happened so quick. You know, like there's no real pullback to let you know, like, oh yeah, Devontae, that was a lower high point that was broken. You know,
Mhm.
like here you can
Yeah,
clearly see support is
yeah,
broken. You know, lower high point, boom, super downtrend. This is the resistance. That's the resistance that you have to worry about being broken, especially on the daily time frame because that is more candles in that, right?
yeah, yeah,
But it
yeah.
gave you that bearish engulfing, continue, boom, hit support, and now you're just in this consolidation zone, but it's still maintaining that one level of resistance that's right there.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's what you would need to see transition. You would need to see on a lower time frame first, of course, but on this time frame, like it dropped, boom, boom, boom. Like you would need to see a higher low made like around here, and then you would need to see that break happen, and then you would need to see another higher low like right here. And this would be the area that you want to take advantage of, or this area, just because you
Yeah.
understand that you already had a monthly level of support hit that was respected. Say you started seeing hella exhaustion on the daily, you go down to the 4 hour, you see a point of support that was being made. 1 hour, you see a transition. Boom. You know, you could take advantage of this confidently and try to take that to its 38.2, which is probably somewhere up here, or you could wait for the break. Boom. Now that it broke, wait for another higher low point transition opportunity and take that.
Mhm. Okay. So when you're so I guess now I guess I'll ask more like specifically about like the um the entries kind of right. So you only enter off of like the 15 and 30, like you don't go any lower than
Yeah. I'll go lower if need be. Like if I'm in like a tight consolidation area, or if I see like a 1 hour setup, then I'll go to like the 15, 5 minute, you know. But or if I'm like on US 30,
mhm,
super fast pairs, at times I'll be on the 5 minute because you have to, because it moves
mhm,
so quickly. USD CAD moves pretty straight. I don't know too many people that trade it like that, but I would say in tight zones like that consolidation area we was in earlier,
yeah,
like this area, this is where you would want to get more detail. So always think about if you go down time frames is because you need more detail. If you go up time frames because you need less detail. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
But entry, because we was already on the 30 minute, already on our entry time frame, entry would have been literally right here at the close of this candle.
mhm,
Turn this blue. Stop loss right above our exhaustion zone, just based off of how this setup is, right? For
mhm,
comfort, right?
mhm,
Entry, you would have seen 5 pip drawdown. After that, smooth 37 pips before you seen any type of resist. I mean support being made. Then once you seen a little support, pull back 66 pips, right? And
mhm,
then even if you didn't catch the whole move, hold on. Even if you didn't catch the whole move, say like you let it come back some and you end up getting out like right here, that's still a good move, 42 pips, especially off a standard $400, right? Then you
Mm-hmm.
keep the same bias.
Mm-hmm. So like when you, so how do you sort of like, so do you take mostly like 1-to-1s, or do you take like 2-to-1s, or you just sort of like?
I typically take probably I would say probably like 1 to 3, 1 to 3, because I
Whatever.
usually take mine off the 4 hours, so I'm looking for that like I'm looking for that -27 a lot of the times. Not even gonna lie, but I'm not
Mm,
gonna force it. Like that's one thing about me. I don't force it. Like if I start to see like, all right, if I was in this trade, boom, and I started to see, well, first off, is that's why I tell you to have goals, because if I got in this trade, my first goal would be to break this support.
yeah.
That would have been my first goal, because if I'm getting into a sale, it's because I'm looking for a new lower low. That's what comes next in market structure.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. She might just text me something.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, so that would have been my first goal, bro, is to break this area, right? But once I got some support down here and things like that, I would have I would have at least tried to see if it was gonna counter trend to my 38.2. That's just me, right? On my 30%. Or at least my 23.6. But this shit just consolidated, indecision. Came up, it would have came up and tested that 38.2. Let me move this real quick so you can just see what I'm talking about. So if we got in, boom, from my order, like that shit didn't go nowhere. That's like 23.6, right? So
Yeah.
it's beginning of the move at that, right? And then your whole time you sizing that up with your 4 hour time frame as well,
Yeah.
right? And I know I gotta give it time for that 4 hour to kick in. Like I gotta give it time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm not gonna expect it to happen in 30 minutes. But the way that things is looking, is like resistance, and then this is the area that we're looking at. So I'm looking to break all of this area.
Yeah.
I'm looking to break that and get down here. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're looking at the 4 hour time frame, the 4 hour gave you no reason to get out. It's bearish candle, bearish candle, bearish candle with a super long wick. So you wouldn't have even been trying to get out really if you're doing going back and forth like you're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even be trying to get out until you started seeing this wick pull back the way it did and it closed the way it did. Once it closed the way it did, then you would have started seeing buyers coming into the market. That told you buyers is coming into the market, and then you would have got out somewhere around here. And like I said, settled for like 50 pips and
Mm-hmm.
still been a good trade. And then going back on your 4 hour, you see that you still got your trend line being supported even when the buyers did come into the market. So then that would have gave you more confidence to get back in. Let me show you. Nah, what is it? Right here. Right up here. Yeah. That'll give you more confidence, right? Because you've seen the counter trend happen, right? We got to this point, got to our -27 based off where we entered off of this move, and then it gave you that exhaustion, started climbing back up. So, like, say we got out here, but then we waited, just monitor, analyze. Boom, the market hit our what's this point D on our trend line. Man, gave you a bunch of buyers exhaustion at the top and gave you this long ass like seller's candle. This is probably what I would have been in like M15, M5, watching the market like come
Yeah.
back up to this point, because
Yeah.
I would have wanted to see every detail pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of detail, put it like that,
Yeah.
to see when is it, what is it, how is it going to react to my trend line,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what do you see? on seller's exhaustion.
Go.
Not and it's a variation, bearish variation candle. One,
Yeah.
two, three, boom. Entry. I'm back in, bro, and I'm probably up in my lot size. I'm in right there at the close of that candle.
Mm-hmm.
Drawdown, I'm seeing fucking 2 pips, bro. And we boom back to the races, 70 pip or like that's how I trade. Like I try to make it as simple as possible. Like let the market come to me, you know, use my Fibonacci, use my take profit points, not be greedy and just let the market do what it's gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that negative 27%, that's based on is that based on the H4? Yeah. Is that 30? Okay, less than 30. Never mind. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to show you some entry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna show you a few of the entries that I took or whatever.
Okay.
Share my screen real quick. How much time you got? Like 15, 20?
Yeah. Yep. We're good.
Okay. So yeah, I try to like journal. I've been journaling all my trades since like September or so. Let me see. Where's the trade at? November. Okay, yeah. So this was like this was like earlier, this was like later, sort of like last year. Okay. Whatever. This is when I was just using just the M30. And this is when I was like learning how to sort of like hold my trades a bit longer or whatever. So you can't really see the higher time frames, but you can sort of like guess that the higher time frames are sort of bearish or whatever. Right. So yeah, I'm just watching it in 30 structure, right? I was seeing those lower highs formed right here. And then once price sort of got to this level, I saw this movement. Of course, the higher time frames were bearish. And then yeah, I just went for the sell, sort of right there, whatever. I guess one of the problems I do have is trying to hold those trades for a bit longer or whatever. To target. I think I wrote here. Let me see. Yes, and I saw an M30 bearish engulfing, and I entered. Yeah, so that was just one entry, whatever. Let me see. Then I have a second one. So yeah, this is going to be my question, sort of about using the smaller time frames, whatever. Mm-hmm. Right, because like I said, I don't like holding my trades for too long, whatever.
You gotta get out of that, bro. That's a part of the game, G. That's a part of the game, G. Like, how you really gonna make money if you're not holding your trades? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's the case, then it's like you're putting hella. And you already said you don't like to put a lot of risk on your account, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, the only way for you to really make the big bread is for you to really, lock in with the 4 hour, the daily time frame, and be able to, at least intraday, hold your trade for at least, for start off 4 to 8 hours, man. Like even if you get to a certain point where you're up, secure some of your profits, bro, and let the trade ride. Like you gotta let your winners ride, bro. Got to. What the fuck is all this shit popping up? Yeah, you gotta let them shits ride, bro. Like no cap, like. Cause you gotta think about you're in a market, so it's gonna fluctuate. It's gonna go up and go down. You're gonna be in drawdown. Like that's all the shit that you gotta have planned out before you even hop into these charts. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only thing that you can like control. I might have to fucking sell this shit. But yeah, that's that's the only thing you can control really is your risk. So it's like you want to make sure that you got everything, calculated that you can.
Yeah. So so I have, I was gonna actually a question specifically about, because you trade Bitcoin, right?
Right. Sometimes, yeah.
Um,
I just really started getting into that joint like that.
yeah, because like I have two pairs that I only trade during the week. So you can EJ only trade during the week, and crypto I trade like on Saturdays, Sundays, whatever like
Yeah,
that.
but even if that's the case, okay, are you looking at it throughout the week still?
Bitcoin and Ethereum, I don't look at them throughout the week. I only look at them like Saturday, Sunday. That's it.
So it's like gambling, bro. That's gambling, bro. That's like me being like, oh yeah, I don't go to the casino on Monday through Friday, but Saturday I'm in that joint. You know what I'm saying? Like you missed
Yeah.
out on so much data throughout the week, and then you're gonna try to trade it 2 days blindly.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, the reason why I do that is because like during the week, like I just try to focus just to really like hone in and focus on just like two pairs kind of, because it's like if I'm looking at I mean, like for one, like I only like trading two pairs, so like the only reason why I trade them on the weekend is just because that. But like I use two separate accounts for it, so I have like a separate account for the main two pairs and a separate account for crypto, whatever like that.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, and like I said, I don't like trading them anyway because they do move really fast or whatever. So it's like I just prefer to trade like the pairs that aren't like crazy,
Okay.
that are.
There's nothing wrong with that, bro. And that's how, and like you say, you just starting out. You know what I'm saying? Really, like a year ain't nothing, bro.
Yeah.
So just take your time, man. Like I said, like learn. Stay. If you're gonna be on UCAT, bro, stick with UCAT. You know what I'm saying? Like stick with UCAT until it's like, yo, I know I'm catching somewhere between 100, 250 pips a week. Because 250 pips a week on a standard, bro. You know what I'm saying? You up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you up way better than, a lot of these people can't profit $2,000 a week. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like own in on that. And then once you get that, then you can start focusing on other markets and stuff like that. Because I'm telling you, picking 2 days to study a period, that's like cramming for a fucking midterm exam. You know what I mean? Because you trying to go back. You've been studying one pair all week. So you've been studying for one subject all week, all week, all week. And then on Saturday and Sunday, you studying, you cramming for a whole nother subject and got a test. You see what I'm saying? And you trading live. So it's like a real test. You see what I'm saying? It's just like,
Yeah.
don't even put all that psychological strain on yourself, bro. Like you can make money off UCAT. I know people that make money off UCAT. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people, but I got like 2 students who kill not Bitcoin, but UCAT, bro. Because UCAT they kill because they said UCAT is also correlates with like oil or something like that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, bro, they smacked UCAT. Like I've had 2 students before you that traded. So it's like it's possible, but you really have to be focused in on your pair. Like that's all it is. Learning your pair, back testing, seeing where's my edge at, where do I have more opportunities in the market? Is it off certain major market patterns? Is it off certain candlestick variations? Is it off certain trend lines? How am I being dynamic as far as my support and resistance? Am I able to put the whole picture together? Am I journaling my trades? Am I writing out my emotions while I'm trading? Am I time stamping it? You know what I mean? Like those type of things, like really be a scientist of this market. So that way you can grow the way that you want to grow in it, bro.
Yeah.
It's possible, but you have to be a scientist. Like you got to be a mad scientist about this shit. Like, even hearing the way I talk about it, like I know you could kind of tell, like it's a certain edge that I'm looking for me to either enter or exit. You know what I mean? And that's where I want you to be able to get to is like, yo, I'm only entering if I see these kind of things, because that's how you build a system, right? And then once you have a system and it's proven profitable, then you can remove the emotions, right? Because now it's either the market is going with my system or it's going against my system, right? So that's how you remove the emotional ties from, risk capital and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. This was a good session, bro.
Yeah, this is really helpful. It's really helpful. Yeah, and it's really good. I was kind of happy when I came across your page too, because it's like it's really, you don't see too many of us.
Right. exactly.
Like there's so many like popular, other day traders that I saw, whatever like that. But it was like it's different when have somebody of your own kind of and
Yeah.
talking to them, whatever. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely inspiring to see. So just wanted to let you know your work isn't
I
going.
appreciate it, bro. I've been grinding, bro. Been putting in this work, and that's why I do it, so that way other people like us know, like, bro, we have access to this market too. We don't have to just put our money in savings account and trust that they're gonna give us a 2% return when really they've been trading our money the whole time, right?
Yeah,
So it's like, instead of doing that, why we can't protect our own capital and trade our own capital and teach our family members how to be long-term investors as well, right? They had a 400-year head start, so we got
yeah,
it. We catching up for sure.
yeah. That's all. Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna just probably keep in contact. I'll DM you like every
Yeah,
now
bro.
and then. I'll do like my progress, whatever like that, and
Yeah,
stuff
bro.
like that.
Yeah, bro. You should have a journal probably like 3-4 days for sure.
Okay.
All right, so that's smooth, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.